Welcome to the Draft Board Hockey Show. I'm Mark, and my co-host Linkovich Chomowski from New Wave Hockey. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, not much. Feel a little bit shameful. I lost a bet to Darren Boyce. For those of you who watched the last bit of Draft Board, I entered a hefty bet that Medicine Hat would win. They did not, as London are once again, Mem Cup champs. So the OHL takes another Memorial Cup 2 years in a row. Or is it 3? It's 2 years in a row, right?
2 years, yeah, Saginaw, and then the Q won the year before that, right? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, you know what? Hey, you bet against. Well, he's from London, so I mean, he has to pick London. It's just one of those things. You can't bet against your own town. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I'm more mad at myself. I bet against London last year. It paid off. I was like, it's a better Medicine Hat team. I'm betting against them again.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, London is just such a well-coached team. Like, I mean, they run like an NHL style system almost, man. Like that's a tough team to play against. And I mean, granted, last year Saginaw won. That could have went either way. Yeah, that was a great game overall. But yeah, you know what? It's fun to watch. The Mem Cup is like extremely good hockey. Like people don't realize, and especially live. Like I was at the Mem Cup last year, and I'm like, wow, this is unreal. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, despite all the buzz about like CHL players leaving for the NCAA, it's still gonna be an electric year next year. I think Medicine has another great shot to get to the final next year in Kelowna. As for just everyone else, I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be really interesting. So I love to pay attention to my CHL. Like again, I kept a tab open on all the scores while I was in Europe. So
That's awesome.
it is good. So like I was like tracking it. I was like,
Have you
Misa.
been have you been to any like OHL or Q games at all? Like live?
I've been to a Q game in Sherbrooke, and
Sherbrooke.
that's
Okay.
about it. So I gotta make my way up there for next year. But I went on a whim because I had a car in my junior year, and I went to go see Sherbrooke, and they got torched. I was like, all right. So
Well, you know, you're gonna have to make the trip up here. We'll go catch a couple OHL games, and then we'll go to Plymouth and we'll see the NTDP. We can make
that'll
a
be
big
electric.
weekend of it. Link.
Oh, for
It'll be
sure.
a lot of fun, buddy. We're gonna get you into that. All right. Combine some discussion. You said you heard some rumblings here, eh? What
So
did you hear?
there's some rumblings. Obviously, first we can talk about Schaefer. I mean, he's going out to dinner with the Islanders. There's a rumor that they made Schaefer pay for the dinner, which
Yes.
was really weird. I was
Yes.
like, that's so odd.
No,
No,
it's
but
his character. You know, see if he'd like be like, whoa, what's going on? Right? Like, I love it.
yeah. Oh no, so I mean it's a good thing. The combine it's ramping up. I'm waiting for the measurements to come out for our boys,
Yes.
specifically Vic Eklund. There's been some rumblings, as there always is, from Montreal. And I will say I like there's some discussion going around on Twitter that Porter Martone may be a trade up candidate for the Montreal Canadiens. Like they're looking to get this guy. And
Wow.
I can't say that I love it. I really do, because that's a great passer. You're getting a great big body up there. He's someone that I've been pretty on the record about being like, I want Philly to take him. So hey,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. So
Well, the other thing too is that we've heard that Desnoyers was hampered with 2 wrist injuries, and since November, like, come on, and he went on an absolute tear in the playoffs in the Q. Like, he had 30 points in 19 games, and with 2 busted up wrists. Like, I mean, come on, that's hey, you want to talk about a tough kid? That goes to show, like, you're willing to put your body on the line for playoff hockey. You gotta love it.
there's no more formidable moment for general managers for this draft than the Stanley Cup playoffs, because they'll be watching every single game and being like, "Oh my God, we need to add this guy." And for the last few years, it's been Matt Tkachuk. I think this year might be like a Sam Bennett or a Brad Marchand. If
Yeah.
you're able to add that type of player, like that's awesome. And that's why part of the reason why I was super high on Caden Lindstrom last year, because he added that bit of sandpaper to his skill game that we all love. And again, hey, he's gonna be going. It's official. He's going to Michigan State next year. So I'm
Yeah.
super pumped
I
for
saw
that.
you pumping that out on X. Love it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I called that back. I heard it back in March, and I was like, I'm gonna jump on it. And it went a little, got like 80 likes. So I was like, I felt pretty good, patting my
There you
back.
go.
So
The other thing, playoff hockey last night. What a game! The Oil pulled it off in OT. I thought that the arena was going to blow its top. It was so loud, but hey, McDavid with 2 sauce passes across the crease like that for goals. The first one there, Alcombe, and then the one for Drizzy. Unreal passes, man. Come on.
McDavid's just a different beast. I know everyone's clamoring for a Draisaitl, Conn Smythe, but for me, it's so hard to not give it to McDavid because he's just so influential in the change of those games. He gives you so many chances. There was a particular breakaway where he just carved up the Florida defense, and then I was like, oh my god, he's gonna score a goal. Hits the post and it goes the other way.
Yeah.
And they get another chance, but I was like, oh my gosh, and nobody's talking about this. And then I went to work today. My boss is like, hey, did you see the finals? Like, why can't that McDavid guy score any goals? Clearly, he's not watching. So it's frustrating for me. But I will say, I know I'm usually the American guy. Oh, I am the American guy on this podcast, so I'm usually pumping the tires of the American team. But I'm rooting for the Oil. I would love to see McDavid get his cup.
Yeah.
I was big on the Panthers train last year because I there's so many players on that team that I just adored. I still adore. And they got their first cup, so I'm behind the Edmonton Oilers this one. So I hope this group can get their cup. So
I hope, you know what? Yeah, I'm hoping that too. It'd be pretty sweet. For first Canadian team to win a cup since '93, I think it was, and also for McDavid. I mean, the poor guy has been under the microscope for a while, and yeah, it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I will say there are several Canadian teams, like there are like a couple other Canadian teams that I would rather win because I love, like last year's Vancouver Canucks were the team that I thought was going to do it. Oh man, that was my favorite team that we can talk all about past playoff teams, but yeah, we got to get to our player of the week. But yeah, that was a great game last night.
Good old American boy in Vancouver as a captain too, right?
Oh yeah, Quinny Hughes. He might be coming back. So we'll see. We'll see. That's all some off-season rumors. So we'll see.
All right. So name of the game today, we are going to be talking about Mr. Cole Reschny. Yes, you know what? He's an interesting player. The rankings don't serve this prospect well. I don't know why, but we're going to break down his game. Let's take a look at his stats first here, and you're going to see how's this kid not have more talk about being higher up in the first round. But 92 points in 62 games. Look at the assists. 66 assists in 62 games. Now, the one thing he's listed at 5'11" on here. That they got him at 5'10 and a half. 183 pounds. Combine is this weekend. We're going to find out exactly how big, how tall, how much these kids weigh this weekend. So we're going to see, because, a little bit of the knock on Cole Reschny is his size, amongst other things we'll talk about. But yeah, what's your take on Cole Reschny? How do you have him ranked? I think I got him 25 or something like that.
I'm a little bit behind you on the rankings. I think I'm actually going to look this up right now. I have Cole Reschny at the end of my first round. He's at number 29.
Okay,
I could still shift, so we'll see. But he's been a player who kind of came alive towards the second half, and of course during that electric playoff run for Victoria. And now it's official. He's taking his talents to North Dakota. The Nordak is back, and they're bringing Keaton Verhoff with him too. So there's a lot to be excited about with this player. I'm so excited that he's taking Verhoff with him because, again, both of them were instrumental to that team's success. The thing is with Cole Reschny, he's brilliant. He is a really smart player. He shows it out on the ice. I think he does not get enough credit for his intelligence. The playmaking, obviously, on full display. But a few drawbacks. I mean, we talk about it. I feel like you've mentioned it in episodes before, like the skating. That's one of the bigger issues with it. So
yeah, you know what? The skating, the thing is, like, mechanically, he's not too bad. Like he doesn't have that awkward looking skating. He's just doesn't have that pep, that little jump. And I think, with that though, something that can be kind of worked on, right? Now, the other thing is with I just want to, before talking about Cole, I want to preface by saying that North Dakota's hockey rink is one of the nicest rinks I've ever been to in my life. It is unreal. Like that
You've
rink.
been, eh?
I've been, yes. Me and my brother went to play. Him and his buddies live in Winnipeg, and we went to a hockey tournament in North Dakota. And it just so happened that they had a game that weekend, and they were playing against, who were they playing? Minnesota? No. I can't remember. Anyways,
MTU, whatever. Some
yeah, and
one of the NCHC schools.
yeah, one of the NCHC schools, and that rink was just like I walked in, I was like, wow, like there's literally marble from like the floor to the ceilings. It's like unreal.
I need to get out there.
Yeah, that's you.
I have
Hey,
not been to that
next year
area
would be
of.
the year with
That would be the year.
the team that they're putting together. Yeah. So, anyways,
100%.
yeah, Reschny, the skating is, like you said, the hockey intelligence, the cerebral part of his game, the way he sees the ice, obviously the playmaking, 66 assists in 62 games. I think it was like fourth or fifth best in the dub uh, as a draft eligible prospect. So you know what? And I thought that he played really well at the U18s too. So, the start of the season, like you said, he started off really slow. And I think that people kind of forgot about his production in years past has been, if you go look at his stats for the last, 2-3 years prior to to this past season, it's been unreal. And so I think, but he finished off, like you said, on fire, playoffs on fire, U18s, same thing. So yeah, you know what? People are noticing it. And now he's climbing up the rankings. Well deserved.
Absolutely. I'll be fully transparent and say that I had this guy a little bit lower. The technical skills and kind of lack thereof with some of the skating. Obviously, like again, he's a smaller player. You kind of can't get around that. The transition play kind of being hurt from the skating. It all emanates from that essentially. That really kind of hurt him, in my opinion. I saw these points. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's true. But Victoria is a really loaded team. So, like, what are we doing? Put a few more viewings in, and then he committed to North Dakota. And I have to admit, knowing that that guy is going to be developing in that facility with like kind of those trainers, knowing what types of skill players that they've churned out in the past, I feel way better about giving him a first round grade. And I honestly think that 29 is maybe a little bit low at this point. So we'll see. Again, the final rankings, we're coming down to the wire here. I still have to put some more time in with Cole Reschny, but he's been a tremendous prospect this year. So it's been really solid.
I think you hit it right on the head. Him going to North Dakota is going to be a huge, huge bonus for his development. And like you said, Verhoff's going to be with him. So it's just, I think that you're going to see a different Cole Reschny in a couple of years, I think, because of the path that he chose. And this is why, the CHL opened up that NCAA route. It's exactly for these kind of players, or for, a lot of players that would benefit from going when they're in limbo between, the CHL and NHL, basically. In past, you couldn't make that jump. So now you have a buffer area, I guess you could say, where you can go and develop, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I would say one more player I would want to highlight, kind of just with the North Dakota prowess that's been going on. Obviously, we can talk about their alumni. You all can sound off in the comments. I mean, Drake Kajuya, Zach Parise, Jonathan Tays. Highlight Sasha Boisvert last year. He was the NCHC Rookie of the Year. Fantastic talent, and he was great in Muskegon. I think, yeah, he was in Muskegon. He's great in Muskegon in the USHL. I personally feel like he took his game to another level at North Dakota, and nobody noticed because it was a losing program last year. And I feel like the development that he gained there is some that any young player can experience. I feel like there was a lot of areas in Sasha Boisvert's game that kind of made me tense for putting him as a like top 20 prospect, that I completely was alleviated once he showed me his game last year. I feel like it's going to have a very similar effect on not only Reschny but Keaton Verhoff, who will be a feature on this pod next year. So
yes. And you know what? Nice pickup by Chicago at 18th overall, and that development, like you said, for him in North Dakota. Like, yeah, this is going to be really good for these prospects. Like, man, this is
yeah.
unreal.
We're talking about Nordak a lot. Let's get back on track with Reschny.
You know what? Let me show some clips of Reschny.
Yeah.
So here's a play with some stick handling. So he gets around this guy at the blue line, one hand passes to himself, and then watch that patience and that vision. You see what he did? Like, that's an unreal pass right through the legs of that defenseman. So that's what he does. Like, he's just got that vision, unreal. And then let me show you another pass. Cole Reschny here. He's in the red shirt here, but yeah, right in a slot. See how he just waited that one extra little second for that lane to open up? Like, look, see, he tricked that one player that he's going to pass to the D, and he went to the opposite D, which is, it takes some nice hockey IQ to be able to do that and during game, like, real pace, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, there's pace with your legs and there's pace with your mind. And I have another clip here that I wanted to quickly show. Again, a lot of players, more selfish players, would shoot this puck, but again, just how do you know that the guy's right behind you? You got eyes behind your head. It's really interesting. I think Reschny. I think there's a case to say that this guy has a top 5 playmaking ability in this draft. I think there's a case to say that there's an argument there. Obviously, Higgins, O'Brien lead that charge, but then like after that, you can kind of just toss it up. And there's a bunch of names that you can throw into that discussion, and I believe Reschny's name is as good as anyone's in that discussion.
Well, I mean, like we said, 66 assists in 62 games as a draft eligible player. That's
In the WHL, no
in the
less.
dub.
That's a great. That's consistently everyone says that is the hardest league of the
It is.
CHL 3 to play in. So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you know what? Like we said, there's some little things that, unfortunately, the size, like a lot of places have them listed at 5'10". So we'll wait and see for the combine. And the NHL, they will drop players because of their size, and that's just the way it is. We can't control that. Now, the other thing is like his skating, but the path that he's going on, North Dakota, it's going to be. I think there's going to be a change player in a couple of years with Cole
absolutely.
Reschny. Yeah.
The one kind of just give a final diagnosis with Cole
Yeah.
Reschny. The things that I've heard about him from just other articles or just from my from recruit scouting, love you boys. Recruit scouting is he's a center right now. He's listed as a center, but he plays more of like a winger style game. That inevitably with the like 5'11" and the skating, it's gonna hurt him. Don't be shocked if this guy is a guy who falls to the second round. But he is gonna be picked up real quick on day 2. I know it, and because of that NCAA, because of the NCAA commitment, he has a very sure path of development, and I think that's very attractive to some teams. I would be jumping at the bit if this guy does not get drafted day 1, because that's certainly a possibility. But Cole Reschny, again, you can't sleep on this guy. You really can't. I think if the Flyers, they have the Panthers pick here at the
31 or
31st.
32. We'll say 31.
Unfortunately, Danny Briere didn't take a shot at my boy Teddy Stiga last year. I would love for him to take a shot at Cole Reschny this year. So
There you
we'll see.
go.
We'll see. We'll see.
Hopefully, hey Briere, if you're listening, listen to Linc, please.
If big if.
All right. And that's it for Cole Reschny. So you know what's coming up next? Follower questions. All righty, let's go. We got a few on the docket here.
All right, so I wanted to start with this one because I think this would be a very interesting one from DHman02. We thought this would be worth discussing. How would you rank the center prospects from the last 3 drafts going in their drafts? My list would go Bedard, Celebrini, Fantilli, Carlson, Misa, Wright. Would you mind if I added Higgins to this discussion as well?
You can add Higgins. Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess we can start.
I got Celebrini first.
Okay, we can discuss that because I
got Celebrini first just because his overall game. Now, you know what the other thing was? Did you see him at the World Championships? This kid was learning left and right, playing with McKinnon, Crosby, and you can't take that away. He is going into this place. He's going to see the professionalism, how they, conduct themselves on and off the ice, the details to their game. I guess him and Crosby were talking all the time. So, that is something I don't know why Bedard turned that down. Maybe he was dealing with injuries or whatnot, but I mean, what a learning moment for Celebrini. And I just think his overall game, like I'm a kind of guy that I would take like Crosby. I just think Crosby is like one of the best all-around players ever. And I just like those players that you can depend on, game in and game out, playoffs, whatever.
All right. Well, I'm taking Bedard first. And I know it's Bedard and Fantilli discussion and then everyone else. I mean, let's be real. Look, I love Celebrini's all-around game. He's a player that I still believe that he's going to be someone who wins his first Selke before he wins his first Hart, because he's that solid of an all-around player. I'm never going to back down from that because I think he really is a future Selke winner. I think he's also going to be a future Hart winner when it's all said and done. if I honestly, I think he gets my Calder vote too. But I'm still gonna go with Bedard. I think the all around skill, the all around just shot, the playmaking strides that he took this year, just the fact that he played on maybe the worst team I've ever seen in my life, the 2024-2025 Chicago Blackhawks, and he made it out not only alive, but I think he had what 66, 68 points. He was stranded for most of the year. It does not get it. It doesn't. I feel like you can't really discount Bedard in his current situation, because we were talking about Bedard like he was this surefire guy a year ago, and just because they didn't add anyone to that core and they gave him what was it 128 line combinations this year, you expect him to stick. I look. I think obviously, next year is obviously very telling for Bedard. I don't think it's his fault what's been going on the first 2 years. Obviously, I think there's a ton of tales of players who have been super highly touted and then have been giving horrible situations to begin their careers. So we'll see. But I'm still riding with my boy Bedard. I've got him and then Celebrini, but I will say the gap is always very close, very very close.
Well, I
Um,
might be a little biased because I got Celebrini in my dynasty pool and I don't have Bedard.
oh,
So I mean, I got to go with my boy, right? So yeah. And then, do you like the rest of the list though? The way it is falls here, so it goes Celebrini, then Fantilli, Carlson, Misa, right?
I'm gonna get a bit controversial with this one because I'm gonna put Misa ahead of Fantilli and Carlson purely because I think the upside is quite incredible. And I talk a big game with Michael Misa. I know you're not. I don't know if how high you are on
No, no,
him, but I like
I'm high on
I
Misa.
I
Yeah,
I talk a huge game on Misa. I really think he is something very special. He showed us a very special brand of talent this year, and I truly believe he plays a perfect game. After him, I really love Carlson, but it's hard not to take Fantilli after the year he had. And then I'll put Hagens over Wright any day. I love Hagens, and I'll advocate for him all the time. So I think it's
yeah,
very tough. It's very tough. Wright, I think he had moments this year. I didn't think he had a very consistent this season. But obviously the first few years there have been tough in Seattle. But yeah, that's kind of how I would do it.
okay,
So
fair enough. All right, next question. Okay, go ahead,
all
fire it up.
right. Arctic Pilot says, "Do you think there's any chance at all that the Sharks trade up to the first overall to take Schaefer?" I think San Jose would love Schaefer in their D pool. I think so too. They have a great forward prospect pool, and I think it makes sense for both teams. The Isles need offense, so trading back for Misa makes sense. Love to hear your thoughts. I mean, that's a great point. And I've heard some trades that people are like suggesting and saying, "Oh, that would make so much more sense." But the thing is, the Islanders need defense, I think, just as badly. And I think it's very they really. I think they draft their big defensive prospects are Isaiah George and Jesse Pulkkinen, and they are going to be 20 next year. So why not draft the kid, Matthew Schaefer, first overall? I talk a big game with Misa. I think Misa is a fantastic. He lives up to his exceptional status in every sense of the word. Um, so I think if the Sharks are trading up for Schaefer, I don't think the Islanders are going to do it, and I don't think a player like Sam Dickinson would cover it. So that's
Yeah,
just
I
where
mean,
I fall right now.
it'd be interesting to see what the if it like say that trade does develop. I'd like to see what the moving parts are because
It would have to
yeah,
be Dickinson. It would have to
yeah.
be.
I mean,
Dickinson in a first would probably
oof,
be the start,
yeah.
which is brutal. It's tough, but
I say the Islanders, stick. You got the first overall pick. If
I'd
you're
stick with it.
if
If
yeah
see if
if your scouting staff has done their due diligence, then you know what they should be like. This is who we're taking, and this is why, and that's that. So, yeah, I think we'll see what happens. That's going to be an interesting one. All right.
absolutely, yeah. Last question here. McGuire Grant 5867 says, "Do you think a Canadian team will take a chance on Cullen Potter?" Now, this is a great question. I
Ooh,
actually really like this one. So I'm actually
ooh.
I'm not prepared. Let me pull up the So the first team to pick, so the first Canadian team to pick in this draft, weirdly enough, is Vancouver at 15. I would have thought it was someone earlier, but a lot of teams made the playoffs this year. But Vancouver. I think with Vancouver and Montreal, because it's those 3 picks back to back to back. It's tough for me to see Montreal go out for a guy like Potter because they have a lot of skill players.
I don't think
I don't think that's
no.
it. Vancouver, maybe. I think Vancouver is a very wild card in terms of how you're going to predict their draft going. This is very telling. This week is going to be if he falls out of that range. Calgary, funny enough, is right there at 18. I think that's a good landing spot.
I would say that would be if out of the 3 that we've mentioned, because it goes Vancouver 15, Montreal 16, Montreal 17, and then Calgary's 18.
Calgary's 18 because they have the Devils pick.
I could see them. You know what? You agree with that? I think that's
I do too. Because going into this year, I think a lot of people forget. People are expecting Calgary to be horrible, and they were saying like horrible for Hagens at the beginning of the year. I don't know if they were saying that. I was saying that. But they were looking for that they were looking for skill, and that's kind of what they have needed because they have a lot of players on the team. They have a lot of players they can shape around. I think an NCAA prospect is exactly what they need, and they could go for. Calgary is one of the landing spots. Another one. Just to get the bunker boys going in the chat. I think Ottawa is a really good landing spot. I know Zonen's their boy. I know they have a couple of people that they would love at 21, but I really like Potter. I think Potter would be a perfect speed fit and an answer for them on the wing. So
and they got a bunch of NTDP players on that team too, right?
Exactly. It makes so much more sense, I think. But I think if a Canadian team is going to do it, Vancouver's obviously in the mix. I don't know if they're going to do it at 15. But yeah, Calgary and Ottawa are the most likely. But we'll see.
I agree. I love it. Okay, we need more questions, people. More questions. Let's go. Get us some questions. We love this stuff. And next week we got a little 1v1. We're not going to tell you who. All right, Linc. Let's keep it a secret. We're going to do a little 1v1 next episode. So
who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
Yeah.
Let us know who you think is going to be the 1v1 next.
Let us know in the comments who would you like to see a 1v1 of, who we haven't discussed yet. So that's it, Linc. As always, a pleasure, my friend. And next week we'll be at it again. And that's it for today, everyone. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.